Hello, crypto people. Joey here from the Chart Guys. I've been trading full time for 7 years, learning at the Chart Guys for 6 of them, and I'm here to talk about some crypto. So, Bitcoin, as everybody again knows coming into the stream, we're going down today. And, after such a big bullish move, any downside just feels so foreign, and we always need to continue to reevaluate and ask ourselves, is this healthy? Is this unhealthy? We know that charts do not go up in a straight line. There's going to be ebbs and flows along the way. And our job is to determine, is this a healthy pullback? Is this an unhealthy pullback? And there's usually not just one answer to that. It's more of like a tally system. Like you got bear tally points, you got bull tally points. You mark off all of your points of data, and then just, our brains ultimately end up being the machine that calculates odds from that. And then those odds that we have are what we base our trades on. And as we know, no trade can ever be a guarantee, and we're just working with all of this from a probabilistic mindset. So the quick skinny on Bitcoin at this point is, yes, the pullback's healthy. We knew that there was certainly a potential where we'd get a 3-day lower high compared to all-time highs. We knew that our daily higher lows were going to be our guide for that, and those broke here this morning after we had a 12-hour tightening range throughout the weekend and the bear break. So that's our 3-day consolidation getting underway. And now the big question is, can bulls form a higher low compared to 60,775? So lots of space to work with. Let's put a number on it. We got 11.56% from current prices. So lots of room to work with at this point. Things that would have us decrease the probabilities that a higher low is going to form on Bitcoin would be mainly volume. If we see increasing bear volume on the way down, that has us question the most likely scenario, because the most likely scenario is a 3-day higher low, because we bounced well up and over the 0.5 retrace of this move down. So we're looking for a 3-day higher low. If we see increasing bull or bear volume, then we'll know, all right, maybe we need to wait for a little bit of proof from bulls. So that's one thing. Another thing is going to be looking at alts for clues. So we've got a slew of alts at this point who have set weekly lower highs. Or I shouldn't say a slew, it's not a ton, but the dominoes are starting to fall with them, and everybody's largely been doing the same stuff for a good while here, varying degrees of strength and weakness. But now that we've got some alts with weekly lower highs set, the stage is set for them to potentially confirm weekly downtrends. If we have alts that start confirming weekly downtrends, that is going to have us need to, perk up our ears a little bit and listen for bears out there. So let's look at those alts before we dive into BTC a little bit more granularly. So let's go to the weekly time frame here now. We've got AXS, weekly lower high. We've had weekly higher lows forming since October, and we now have a weekly lower high. The stage is set for bears to confirm a weekly downtrend. We are much closer to support than BTC from a structural sense. Percentage-wise, it's comparable, 11.93%, but we know that the alts are typically more volatile, so from a retracement perspective, we're much closer to support here. Atom, same story, weekly lower high set, potential for a weekly downtrend. Link, same story, weekly lower high set, and a little bit different on Link because we're coming out of this megaphone rather than a clear uptrend, but the stage is set for a weekly downtrend for the first time in a long time. Let's zoom out. When's the last weekly downtrend we've had on Link? I suppose it's a little dinker here, but before that, that's a stair step down. I mean, what do we got for a weekly downtrend? It might be back here. Bears haven't had a clear weekly downtrend. I mean, that's a dinker, so we'll work with that, but we won't split hairs. We lost the uptrend here, inability to confirm the downtrend. The point is, if we confirm a weekly downtrend, it's going to be notable. I won't keep hashing over it. OP, another one with a weekly lower high set, potentially losing weekly 12 EMA for the first time in a long time. And if you don't care about alts, that's fine. But we can get clues from these alts. So whether you trade them or not, it's important to be looking around the space, looking at Bitcoin dominance, looking at what varying alts are doing, and kind of weighing out what that shows us for health for the space as a whole. So what are some other ones? CRV has the weekly lower high set. Technically, ETH does, only by some peanuts here. Weekly high or low set by some peanuts. Weekly lower high now set by some peanuts. So if these names start to get knocked off, we need to batten up the hatches a little bit and be open to the possibility that maybe monthly consolidation is shaping up on Bitcoin. No sign of it yet, but we've got to be prepared for it when it comes. So I'll continue to talk about it. We have a lot of the hallmarks of an impending pullback. To go back to the Bitcoin chart, that first bearish kind of talk that we had in months ended up being the high right here. And some of those points were the clear euphoria, the James Nguyen's of the world running around, shaming people for taking profits, all of that jazz. But now we've got these low cap meme shitcoins going like 10,000% in 6 days. And you got people, just scrolling around the internet. There's people saying like, oh my God, I'm getting whatever interest rate from staking my blah, blah, blah. I'm making $500 a day doing nothing, mapping out their plans for their future yachts and whatnot. So these are all just kind of hallmarks of things that happen closer to tops than bottoms. Bitcoin's fine, but we will consolidate on the monthly again. And I'll just leave it at that. The one more thing at play here is we've got the S&P 500. We'll go to SPX for it because ES technically popped by a tick or two, but we are now on our 13th candle of weekly stairstep. That is into historic extremes. I forget the exact stats we had. We had a tenor in 2016, a tenor in 2010, an 11 in 2010, a 12 in 98, a 12 in 87, and then you've got to go back to 62 and 63 to see the last stair step that ended up being 14 candles. So can we continue to go? Yes, obviously, but are we, quote, due for consolidation? Yes, we are. If the S&P 500 and NASDAQ and everybody else pulls back, odds favor that Bitcoin will see some headwind. We'll just leave it at that. It's certainly not going to help Bitcoin bulls as far as the traditional relationship and how it's existed up to this point. Another thing, y'all know I don't mind myself too much with the dollar. I like the bigger picture movement of it, but we've got the dollar breaking weekly resistance. So there's definitely a lot of traders that view that negatively for Bitcoin, commodities, equities. My take on it is that the relationship kind of comes and goes, and about 50% of the time it works, 50% of the time it doesn't. So I prefer to prioritize the levels on the chart that I'm trading as opposed to fretting about the dollar or this and that. But, it's the dollar going up. One thing we can say for sure, it's not good for Bitcoin. It's not good for Bitcoin. So here the question is this whole tightening range going to break bull and get through 107.34.8 and bring us to the highest prices since November 2022? Or are we going to get a 2-month equilibrium now? So we know it's not uncommon to see an equilibrium on one time frame break and lead to an equilibrium on another time frame. And the setup is here for it on the dollar. So really for me, if we don't get through 107.35, we'll call it, and pretty much the low down here at 99.58, then the dollar is still largely sideways, bigger picture. So watching the daily uptrend, watching the weekly stair step. Weekly stair steps have been gangbusters on here for quite some time at this point. So there's definitely some chips stacking up for maybe we see some deeper consolidation. Chips stacking up in favor for everybody's fine is we've still got alts busting to new highs. If we look at Pendle and, is there fear in Pendle? No, there's not. Blue Skies has just been on absolute tear for the last 15 days or something like that. Looking like some consolidation coming in, but Pendle's doing fine. Sol, 7% down on the day. That's awful, right? I mean, it's 7%, but if we look at this weekly chart, we're not even consolidating on the weekly. So this brings up the next point is, say we do see some more pullback here. What dips are you trying to buy? you're trying to buy dips of names that are coming off the highs, looking for a weekly high or low, still in a weekly uptrend. So we've got Sol with that. We've got RNDR has just entered weekly consolidation. It's a weekly 12 EMA rider. So these names, when you compare your alts, names that are coming off the highs, ideally coming off of blue skies, looking for a weekly high or low, still in a weekly uptrend, that's like your top category of interest. Then after that, we have names like Sol, who are not coming off the highs, but still in a weekly uptrend, still riding weekly 12 EMA. And that's how you want to categorize these altcoins as you compare them against Bitcoin and determine relative strength, relative weakness, and what do you want to go for. So just as you want to be going for those ones long, if you're looking to buy some dips, you want to be going for the stinkers short. So those names that have already set weekly lower highs or didn't even get a weekly bounce underway. We can't put Matic in the category of names that have weekly lower high set because it didn't get a weekly bounce, but we're headed back down to the lowest prices. Let's go to the daily for this. If we break this base of support here, we'll be at the lowest prices since mid-February. So not the longest time, but a clear shift is underway here at the moment. And in terms of Matic itself, well, before we get to the ratio chart, it's been a while that we've been talking about this now. Quarterly tightening range on Matic. So if we break that base of support, let me make it a little bigger here. If we break that base of support, odds will increase that this quarterly lower high is shaping up. Still a lot of work to be done because ultimately bears, if it's going to happen this quarter, got to get through 69.13. But as long as Matic BTC is seeing yearly consolidation and no strength at all, then Matic USD is going to be a decent bear. And this ratio chart, another quarterly tightening range that broke bear to get yearly consolidation underway on the ratio chart. There's a lot of space here, and we've just got bears continuing to do their thing. So as long as this ratio chart looks like this on Matic, it's going to be a prime bear. Daily 12 EMA resistance is our guide here, and that is that. And what we need to be mindful of is that the same thing could happen to Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, ETH. If we look at ETH BTC, very similar quarterly tightening range. We've broken support, no follow through at this point, and bulls have tried to defend this support pretty aggressively on multiple occasions, but we're coming right back down here. So are we going to break it with follow through and see yearly consolidation and see ETH be a stinker? Maybe. Time will tell. But as we were talking last stream, daily stair step for intermediate weakness, then daily 12 EMA for slightly more zoomed out. Got a nice daily bounce. Had some relative strength on ETH for all of 1 day, and rejected from resistance and back down to new consolidation low. So we got to keep eyes on this, because if we go back to Matic BTC, we can see it was quite similar down here. Here's our key support. I'll drop a line on it. I actually should already have one. Yep, I do. So that's our key support. Strong defense, strong defense, strong defense, strong defense. It was a battle here. And then when they gave it up, they gave it up. So keep an eyes on that with ETH. I know it's like a core of, the crypto space, but we got to just take what the charts are giving us at this point. All right, so that's kind of the scene that we're looking at right now. I know that felt pretty bearish, but we've just been bullish for so long and talking bull lens for so long that just got to talk about the other side. Are things looking troubling for the crypto space right now? No, they're not. But can we see the roadmap towards the shift to lead to some monthly consolidation? Yeah, the roadmap is there, and that's why we've got to talk about it now, because for a while the roadmap wasn't there at all. When the roadmap was there, we did talk about it. Back here, is this going to be a head and shoulders that gets a quarterly lower high set? We were talking about it because that was a possibility, but on this move up in a weekly uptrend, there's not a lot of possibility for it, because if you're coming off of the highs like this, we know we're looking for a weekly higher low. If we're coming off the highs like this, we know we're looking for a weekly higher low. But can bears now confirm a weekly downtrend? They got their work cut out for them, but just got to talk about it now. So not saying you can't be buying dips. Obviously, there's still plenty of dips to buy. We've got a ton of coins coming off of blue skies We got back burners continuing to hit. Doge back burner just gave a really nice trade over the weekend. So that is that. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance to just kind of put another little check in the bear column, is that we've got us up at resistance of this tightening range. So the talk before was, we welcome this Bitcoin tightening range because let Bitcoin go sideways, cool off, let the money rotate into the alts. But that's not what we're seeing right now at this pullback. We're seeing alts pull back harder than Bitcoin, and ultimately, money kind of leaving the space to a degree. I don't look at the total market caps. I think, what do people look at? Total 2 or total 3? Let me look at total 2. Yeah, so coming up to resistance, same deal where we could see a weekly downtrend for the first time in a long time. But yeah, when this thing's going down, that tells you money's leaving the space, and we got people dropping in unison together. We don't have rotation going on. So looking back at Bitcoin dominance, are bears going to show up here soon and reject resistance on Bitcoin dominance to stay tightening? And if that were to happen, in this context, it would likely be alts bouncing stronger than Bitcoin on the next bounce from here. The other alternative to that could be Bitcoin catching up to the alts and everybody continues to go down, and then Bitcoin turns on the heat with it. So we'll have to see what version we get, but that shift would need to come here soon because we're right at resistance. If we break bull out of this, then it shows us that Bitcoin remains dominant over its peers, but it's not because currently in this context because Bitcoin's going up more than everybody else. It's because Bitcoin's going down less than everybody else, which isn't as fun, which is not as fun. So we'll be keeping eyes on this. If it breaks bull, that is, what is that? I suppose just continuation of this weekly stair step. Maybe we need a different time frame. I guess we'll stick with the weekly. This isn't technically a weekly high or low since we didn't break the low of the previous candle, but be keeping eyes on it. All right, so now let's dive into Bitcoin. Let's dive into Bitcoin. We know we got our 3-day lower high set. We know we're looking for a 3-day higher low, barring increasing volume. And at this point, it's about the ideal reaction that bulls would like to see after breaking this key support down here at 68,359. No follow through, and as we know, when you've got extended RSI levels on multiple time frames, when you break a key level, it's difficult to see follow through. We had 15-minute oversold. We had hourly oversold, 5-minute, 2-minute, and this is stuff that is not just hindsight hullabaloo. Let's see, I think what thread did I talk about it in? Yeah, here we go. So this is the Chart Guys chat room, 4 hours ago, pretty much on the break, bear break of the 12-hour EQ, pretty extended in the short term, would not be surprised by a lack of initial follow through. So I think to some folks, it seems like that's some wizardry, but it's very defined. Do we have multiple RSI levels extended on a break? If you do, it's tough to see follow through. It doesn't mean you can't see follow through, but it's tough to see follow through there. So at this point, we've now got the hourly bounce underway, and it was just the zoom out game the whole way down. We can go back and look at it. You had 2-minute 12 EMA acting as resistance. You get up and over that, you zoom out. Guess what topped it? 5-minute 12 EMA, that acts as resistance. You get over that, you zoom out. 15-minute 12 EMA acting as resistance. You get over that, zoom out. We're looking at the hourly now. So hourly 12 EMA is about 69.2K at this point, and bulls need to try to regain an hourly uptrend to get a 4-hour bounce underway with confidence. Then we'd say anything under 70.1K can be a 4-hour lower high. Then you got to regain your 4-hour uptrend for us to say, okay, this is now a daily bear break without follow through. That would be the ideal situation for bulls, and we could be looking at this as like a 3-day cup and handle. If this is all we get, bulls are ecstatic about that pullback. So what do bears want to see? Bears want to see another 4-hour lower high and lower low. So at this point, I talked about it in the weekend video for Chart Guys members only about how, so a range like this gives you the opportunity to hedge out low risk if that's something that tickles your fancy. So If you're hedged out from here, you can be taking some partials and have a stop over the high. If this is the beginning of a big shift, then you've got your hedge on or your short position on. If it's not, you stop out and you lose nothing. If you're not hedged off and you're thinking like, dang, these alts seem pretty solid downside, maybe I want to hedge up a little bit, then maybe most aggressive would be a 4-hour lower high, but I'd probably say a 12-hour lower high next bounce, because you're ultimately still kind of want to be playing off of these. So at that point, your stop's a bit far away, 4.4% or 4.16%, excuse me. So yeah, I'd probably be waiting for a lower high on that. So we got this hourly bounce underway. We'll let the 15-minute uptrend be the guide. Once the 15-minute uptrend is compromised, we'll see how far the hourly bounce went, and did that create room for an hourly higher low to let bulls try to do the whole thing again on the hourly. So that's what we got going on with Bitcoin as far as supports. Kind of a lack of price action support directly below. Got a few hourly dinkers. Let's look at it on the 4-hour. Yeah, we can look at this little base at 66.7, and then after that we're pretty much down to the 63s, 63.8k or something like that. But good reaction so far on the bear break, and we'll see who gets the next 4-hour trend. Do bears keep it intact with lower lows, or do bulls regain a 4-hour uptrend from here? So looking at ETH, you can see the relative weakness. Similar deal, if we look at it on the 3-day, we know it's much weaker. Didn't get nearly as close to resistance as Bitcoin. 3-day lower high set, and same thing that we were talking about at the beginning of the stream. If we lose this low of 3,057 on ETH, that is a momentum shift that we've got to just respect. That would be some monthly consolidation. Let me get to the monthly. That'd be some monthly consolidation trying to shape on up. We'll certainly be looking for a monthly higher low. And same goes for Bitcoin, same goes for all of these altcoins. We'll be looking for monthly higher lows on many, many coins. But sometimes you gotta be patient. When monthly consolidation comes, you gotta be patient for those dips. You gotta wait for bulls to prove something. I don't know, it depends on your style. Some people will be going in aggressively to these, but just knowing that it's been a bull bonanza in the crypto space for well over a year at this point. I guess not well over, but over a year. So I would be protective personally. When you add that the Fed is still projected to cut rates 3 times this year, and there's a deep history over the last 50 years of when the Fed starts cutting rates, then the markets see some downside. If that happens to the broad market, I imagine that people aren't going to be like, oh, well, I feel good investing in WIF, USDT, but I don't feel good holding NVDA or Tesla or SPY. That's unlikely to be the case. If we get a risk-off environment across the market, historically, people are not going to be feeling good in these altcoins, and that is that. So if you're an active trader, you don't really mind too much because all we want is volatility. If you're a hodler, then that's the point where you need to consider hedging stuff or locking in some profits and just making sure you have a game plan, because we will again see the day. We saw one of them since this talk we had back here, but we will see the day where it's double-digit percentage red across the board. And we've got some decent red out here now, but anybody who thinks the space only goes up, you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. There's nothing wrong with locking in some profits, nothing wrong with hedging yourself out, and that is that. So back to ETH. What do we got? Hourly bounce, not underway yet. That relative weakness remains. We got bulls trying for it. Got to get over the 15-minute 12 EMA, and then it's going to be the same thing as Bitcoin. Got to regain an hourly uptrend to try to get a 4-hour bounce underway. Got to regain a 4-hour uptrend as step 1 to trying to shape up a 3-day higher low. Looking at LTC. So LTC saw some action. Well, let's start with the daily. So we've been watching this daily tightening range for quite some time. Get the bull break. Excellent. LTC saw a very nice move, but weekly 12 EMA continuing to act as resistance. Bears got the weekly candle close down below. another push up this week and getting it down below. So from here, if anything is going to change notably on LTC, got to get a weekly uptrend on LTC BTC. So how did this affect LTC USD? We had our weekly bull flag confirm on that relative strength, and now we're rejecting from 114.98. So 114.98 is quarterly resistance. If bulls get through that, that's a quarterly uptrend and a yearly higher low being set within a yearly equilibrium. Then we'll zoom way out and look for a yearly lower high compared to 413.91. But for now, we got bears playing defense right at resistance, not far off of it, and daily consolidation's underway. So not the greatest look to have that wick up and pull back down. It'll be like a 12-hour bull flag confirmed without follow through. Now losing 12-hour 12 EMA. But the beauty being uptrends on all time frames is now we're looking for a daily higher low. Anything over 92.80 would be one. The increase in bear volume is what I would say warrants caution in terms of buying the dip, and just knowing that LTC's bigger picture has been a turd for sure. But when you are looking to buy a dip, but you know it like could keep dipping, which I guess is every dip. But if you're looking to buy a dip that you know you don't want to just like continue to scale into, then you use your smaller time frames to look for a clue that something's shifting, and you say, all right, this is either the low or I stop out. So that could be like an hourly stair step. This is actually really nice context for it. So we've got an hourly stair step into the daily 12 EMA, nearing hourly oversold conditions. If you want to try to take a crack at it, you can like set up an hourly stair step and your risk is very minimal. So it would be something like that. You shoot for 1-to-1 to lap off half, get risk free. You know, on an hourly stair step break, is it a lot to ask for 1.2%? I don't think so. I do not think so, but that's my preferred way to make a play. It's basically a way to conservatively make an aggressive play, because like the most aggressive bulls are saying, yeah, I'm just scaling into this thing. We're going to form a weekly higher low is the most likely scenario compared to 76.96. So I'm going to scale in. That's super aggressive. And on a coin that hasn't given anybody any reason to be aggressive in eons, you know, not necessarily advised. But doesn't mean you can't try to buy dips. You just want to see some form of proof. So yeah, that's LTC. Let's look at SOL. We can nuke these lines at this point. No, I've got some other drawings hidden, so we'll do it manually. So SOL, we know bigger picture, still a weekly stair step, going to be looking for a weekly higher low when that breaks, and we've got a daily uptrend that remains intact. That's our guide for the weekly move. Anything over 180 clean, going to be a daily higher low on this consolidation. We're testing daily 12 EMA, and we are hourly oversold, so decent spot to be looking for some bulls, and that same mindset that we were talking about with LTC can be applied here. You don't have to just scale in. You can wait for bulls to prove something, and if it's a daily higher low and the weekly stair step continues, then you're grooving. So it's not as nice as Link because the risk to reward is not as great because these candles are bigger. And what I mean by that is we'll set it up to visualize. So if you're taking this hourly stair step, you need to get over the hourly 12 EMA to get your 1-to-1 to get risk free. When we looked at LTC, you can see that you need much less to get that 1-to-1. So your odds of it are a lot better. So what am I doing here? That's not what I want. So the candles that you're playing off of in stair steps are very, very critical. Very critical. So hourly oversold, can bulls get a daily higher low set here on SOL USD from hourly oversold daily 12 EMA? If they can, then they're looking good. That's the ideal scenario. If we drop down below daily 12 EMA, have to watch out for a potential daily head and shoulders to get that weekly consolidation underway. INJ continues to disappoint fans far and wide. So we are back down to this base of support down here. We got 29.21, 30.30, 30.97. You get the gist, 32, and we're back down to it as INJ BTC just cannot shift things around. It continues to be weak here. So gonna continue to say that we're looking for a monthly high or low. We're testing monthly 12 EMA, but the burden of proof is completely on bulls with INJ. Multi-top here when bulls tried, couldn't get it done, and it's been all bears since then. So looking for signs that INJ is coming back to relative strength, life, but no signs of it at this point. So let's see, we have a little daily downtrend as our guide, weekly stair step straight off the top as we come into this base, and that just is what it is. INJ BTC needs to come along if INJ USD is going to come to life. What else we got? Pendle, we talked about a little bit. Clear lead bull over the last good little period here, and 4-hour 12 EMA rider. We're back testing it again. Is this going to be a little head and shoulders to get some daily consolidation underway, or is the rider going to maintain intact? Time will tell. Tune in next stream, we'll find out. But very strong. RNDR had a tightening range for quite some time, and it broke bear. That's that weekly consolidation. We've now got a daily downtrend guide for weekly consolidation. Let's see where 4-hour oversold would be. We're in it. We're in it. So bulls want to show up soon. I don't believe this is a technical back burner. We can see what the indicator says. It is. It is a 4-hour oversold back burner on RNDR while we're looking for a weekly high or low. So if that's going to shape up, step one is going to be getting over 4-hour 12 EMA. It's been acting as resistance this whole move down. We've got relative weakness here in the short term, hourly 12 EMA before 4-hour, and hourly inside bars here. Potential to break, get an hourly bounce underway, and like everybody else pretty much right now, got to get an hourly uptrend, got to get a 4-hour uptrend. Those are the next two steps for bulls here. So what else we got? FET. So FET is technically not looking for a daily high or low. You could say that's a little dinky daily downtrend. I don't know if I want to do bulls dirty like that after they're coming off of all-time highs. They kind of get the benefit of the doubt with me. So I'm going to look at the 2-day. 2-day 12 EMA been acting as nice support, and anything over 215 would be a 2-day high or low. So if bulls are going to regain any mojo, got to regain a 4-hour uptrend as step one. We can see we have relative strength here. Look at this 4-hour chart. Our low came in off of the midnight candle here. If we compare that to Bitcoin, that midnight candle low is all the way up here. We're only coming back to test it from the underside. So we're holding on a little bit better, but burden of proof is on bulls to get an hourly uptrend, to get a 4-hour uptrend. Let's go back to the 4-hour here. So strong 4-hour bounce, inability to get the uptrend. That's this little dinky daily high or low being set without follow through because you didn't get the uptrend. So got a 4-hour downtrend, got to get the uptrend. What else we got? So AIOZ finally lost daily 12 EMA. Let's see if bears can finish it off by confirming a daily downtrend from here. Anything below all-time high, 108, going to be a daily lower high. And bears trying to get some weekly consolidation underway, and then bulls will certainly be looking for a weekly high or low. Let's see, JUP is another strong one. Clear daily 12 EMA rider for quite some time here. So looking like some daily consolidation shaping up. Bulls going to be looking for a daily high or low off the 12 EMA. It's a good dip to scout. Let's see. That would be, I don't think it'd be hourly oversold aligning with it. Oh, actually it would. Actually it would. So let's mark this off. Come on. Hourly oversold. Let's go back to the daily. I guess it's a little bit off of it, but you consider we're probably not getting there today unless things get super spicy. 5 hours left. This daily 12 EMA is going to walk up a bit. We'll see if they end up being aligned, but it's another one to watch. And a recent example of how this can go well is Doge. So Doge over the weekend had hourly oversold into 12-hour 12 EMA. Ended up giving a nice 14% bounce from there. And that's why marking up your charts with this stuff is nice. And we had a bunch of people in the chat. Let's see if I can find it real quick. A bunch of people in the chat were all over it. Let's pull this back over. So Flint made the initial post as we were nearing hourly oversold. I came in with the 12-hour 12 EMA. Going to be in play there. And, this is the same line that I got on my chart here now. You can see that. You can see what it is here. And this is the game. And a bunch of us were on top of that. Same thing happened with ICP. Let's check back in on ICP. It's still holding it as well. So this was one from last stream. We were talking about hourly oversold, 12-hour 12 EMA, and ended up, the line from the stream ended up absolutely ticking it and got a nice bounce from there. So backburners, backburners, backburners. They're just so powerful. You don't got to YOLO into it. You take a stair step, small time frame, trend change, something like that. Something like that. So Doge, what do we got on Doge? Daily 12 EMA going to be key support here. We're testing the 12-hour 12 EMA. Bulls certainly want to hold that, but I could see a scenario where we break this support down at 19.6, we'll call it, and then daily 12 EMA continues to act as support. So bulls have a little bit of benefit of the doubt here. A little bit of benefit of the doubt here. Weekly higher highs got room for a weekly higher low. Pepe at risk of setting a weekly lower high, opening up the door for monthly consolidation if bears were to confirm a weekly downtrend. SHIB, similar deal, weekly lower high could be nearing being set. We'd have to take out 27.45 to get that done. And WIF continues to be the bull here for the meme coins. Daily consolidation only just getting underway and bulls snapping up the dip. So we had 4-hour, not technically 4-hour 12 EMA rider. We lost it a bit, but held, lost, and then held. It's now been lost. Question here will be, do bears confirm a 4-hour downtrend to see deeper daily consolidation on WIF, or do bulls bounce big enough to regain the 4-hour uptrend and have it be a daily bull flag? See Bonk getting smoked the hardest out of the meme coins here, and same, could set a quick weekly lower high. Weekly 12 EMA going to be our bigger picture guide. What else we got going through the list? Let's look at XRP. See if that 2-day, or not 2-day, 2-week tightening range is continuing to shape on up. Sure looks like it. High, low, lower high, higher low. Is this another lower high forming? Bears would have to follow through out of this tightening range, taking out the first level. Got to follow down through 56.81 and XRP BTC. Not following through on its daily tightening range, bear break. Haven't taken out all levels yet. So this is one to watch. We probably got 2-day 12 EMA. We can say relative bear as long as that is the case. So 2-day 12 EMA on XRP BTC, very similar to weekly 12 EMA on LTC BTC, which was very similar to, I think it was 2-day 12 EMA on LTC BTC we were watching originally. Or no, it was 3-day. Yeah, it was 3-day for so long, got up and over, and we had to watch for weekly. Weekly topped us. And we, trying to get up and over weekly, but that's the zoom out game. All right, I think that's all I'm really looking to look at. We did FET, right? Yeah, we did FET. We did FET, the 2-day 12 EMA. Let's see what y'all are looking at. Lots of chatting here. What up, Revy? What up, Jahan Zeeb? I'm doing decent. Let's see. Please share a trade and why I took it. I haven't traded anything yet today. I guess we'll do the Doge hourly oversold. I already talked about it a bit here, but I can talk about my execution some more. So I was trying to get logged into my exchange. Let's go to the 5-minute. I was having issues getting into my exchange right on this flush. I was trying to buy into the flush, wasn't able to do that, missed the first bounce up, then scaled in a couple orders for a 5-minute higher low. I had one at 1990. I don't know if these numbers, these numbers align with the exchange I'm trading in. I had one at 1990, one at 1980, and I kind of just let the position chill for a bit. I ended up taking some off. Let me go to the hourly. I didn't take any off until a good bit of a move. I took some off up here in the 2060s and then scaled out more into that move, and I've still got a runner. I think I got a, let me see here. Give me a second, just so folks don't think I'm a liar. So that's my average open of the 1985 from the two scales and average close of 2087, scaling out into the bounce. And I honestly don't even really care about the position at this point because I only have a nibble left. I think it's like 5% or less than 5% of the original position. So yeah, just hourly back burner, seeing that we're getting it's not just hourly back burner, it's hourly back burner in conjunction with a larger time frame EMA. When you've got that confluence, you know it's worth taking a crack. And I essentially just bottom fished a 5-minute higher low. And that's not my usual style for this. Like, I will typically take scales into this pullback, but this is where being nimble is important and just kind of highlights the different execution techniques that we can have where, if I didn't scale in, like I would like to scale in, scale some out onto that bounce and then just be donezo and risk free. But ultimately, one of the benefits of using a different style is if I'm scaling into this, I have to be prepared to go a good bit lower. But since I missed that initial bounce, saw the volume, saw the spring back and said, all right, well, this is either it or I'll stop out. Then I can scale in much heavier for this because I've got to stop right there. So there's definitely pros and cons to all of these different trade styles. But yeah, that was the last trade I took. Been doing some non-trading, it's trading related stuff, but not actual trading stuff here today. Kind of, I don't know what you would call it, like personal administrative type of stuff. So that's what I've been working on this morning. So no trades for me yet today, and probably not any trades yet today or happening today. Sometimes you gotta do that. Trading's a business. Trading's a business, and we don't have like a boss business owner to like do all the business stuff. We got to do all that. So every once in a while you need an administrative day. Let's see. Mr. Step 2 says, whenever next monthly consolidation starts, bulls will have a lot of space for a higher low compared to 25K. Ain't that the truth? Let's look at that monthly chart. Anything over 25K going to be a monthly higher low. Bulls will want to hold the monthly 12 EMA. They'll want to see daily oversold mark the monthly higher low. But, we'll have to just go one step at a time. Step 1 is, can bears get it done? Can they get it underway? And that's what we're waiting to see. But, yeah, we could pull back from here 30% and still be healthy monthly consolidation. So something to consider as you evaluate your game plans. And now is the time to make your game plans before we start pulling back. I'm not saying we're pulling back, but you have to have your game plan. Like, okay, bears showed up, clear shift in the space. Now I just need to execute my game plan. You either got stopped into some hedge shorts or stopped out of some longs, or you're committed to riding your stack down and hopefully back up. Whatever you do is fine, pretty much. You can't go wrong. The only way you can go wrong is if you don't have a game plan, because if you're trying to make up your game plan when shit is hitting the fan, you are unlikely to think clear. You're unlikely to think clear. You're unlikely to make the best decision that you can make to manage your money. So come up with a game plan now. Game plan for bulls, game plan for bears. Whatever the chart does, you execute the game plan that is showing you which side is doing their thing. And you can double dip. You can say, I'm going to short a stinker and long a strong, and have your hand in both cookie jars to kind of neutralize yourself a little bit. Let's see. Glad you like the streams, Jahanzib. I appreciate the support, man. Mr. Downster, hello, hello. Ryan B, hello, sir. Yeah, I had a decent long weekend. Hope the same for you. Market holidays are the only days where I can kind of get like a true day off. So I still worked a little bit, but nice to get a little extra time off this weekend. Ryan Lewis knows what's up. Hit that like button, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, OG Itchy. Let's see. Steve O'Brien's right. This is a pullback for ants at this point. I used to love watching Archer. I haven't watched it in quite some time, but pullback for ants for sure. Let's check back in on our bounce. This continues to be what bulls want to see after losing the support. Getting up to hourly 12 EMA, starting to create room for an hourly higher low and already retracing more than 50% by a smidgen. More than 50% by a smidgen. So that's what bulls like to see. Let's see if Bitcoin dominance is doing anything. No, it's trying to break out here still. So Bitcoin is continuing to bounce stronger than alts on this. All right. TK, I'm doing decent, sir. Hope you are doing well. TK's a Chart Guys member, an absolute beast of a human. Very experienced dude in many facets of life. Let's see, Polar Bear Man, 7K BTC just added to Coinbase. Is Bog gonna dump them? Time will tell. No problem, Dan K. Let's see. I think that's it. I'm still kind of scrolling through here. We got a Chart Guys stream that just started at 3:15. I don't like to overlap with that too much, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. Just make sure there's nothing super pressing or juicy in the chat. Let's see. Polar Bear Man thinks we're entering a risk-off period. We'll see, man. The stage is set for it. Let's go to. I guess we'll do SPX. We haven't confirmed a daily downtrend in SPX in so long, since the October lows. The first time that happens, I would assume we enter kind of a risk-off period. NQ, it's not too crazy to imagine the weekly uptrend being lost from here. It's just not that far away. We would need a spark for sure. Right now, this pullback here today is healthy. We still kind of have rotation. We did have all major sectors at the lows at the same time or very close to it. But the stage is set there. If we look at RTY, the Russell futures, is this a rising wedge here? Could be. I think I got it drawn. Yeah, could be. Another higher high without follow through. Not a great look. So we don't need to predict that risk off is coming. We need to identify what it would look like if risk off comes. Because people have been looking for risk to go off this whole way up are like liquidated or emotionally destroyed or, just really not having a good time. So we're not out here hunting tops, but we're never going to fail to put on our bear glasses to determine what would it look like if we did top. What if the deep history of megaphones, macro megaphones on SPX plays out? Let me unhide these. Here we go. Megaphones for days, as far back as we can look. Could this be another one? Absolutely. You combine it with the Fed's cutting rates and what that does historically for us, I think there's reason to be cautious, but are we trying to nail the top? No. What would step one of a shift be? Daily downtrend. What would step two be? Losing the weekly uptrend. Step three would be confirming a weekly downtrend. Step four would be taking out monthly 12 EMA. We lose monthly 12 EMA. From here, that's when we go, all right, maybe we need to give this macro megaphone some credence, but, am I loading up puts up here looking for the macro megaphone? No. Will I if we get some signs that things are shifting? Yes. If the broad market does that and comes down, then, your altcoin's probably going to feel some heat. I just wanted to look at something. I forget what it was, though. We'll keep the show on the road. Yeah, we'll take a quick look at WIF. I think we might have looked at it. Or we did look at WIF. Yeah. 12-hour, 12 EMA rider. 12-hour, 12 EMA rider. We got bulls bouncing up off of it now. If they can bounce more than 50% of this pullback on the 4-hour, that increases the odds of a daily bull flag and the show going on. If bears can drop down below 12-hour, 12 EMA, That's when we have some deeper daily consolidation underway, but as long as bulls hold daily 12 EMA, it'll be a potential daily bull flag. We'd have to lose daily 12 EMA to say, all right, whiff is whiffing for the bulls. Yeah, polar bear man. No one likes to hear any bearish talk. We can honestly see it in the analytics when I like talk bearish about anything. I guess start to get like thumbs down on the videos and stuff. So I'm pretty sure it's directly related there. Let's see, got a memester in here. Let's see what else we got. How do you play the equilibrium on smaller time frame like hourly? There's a video on the Chart Guys website. We'll figure this out together. Pretty sure it's on the website here. Go into the search bar, equilibrium. Dan's got a video of how to play the equilibrium, trading equilibriums, all sorts of stuff about equilibriums in here. But ultimately, you're playing long off the lows, short off the highs. You can either scale into it, or you can wait for like a 5-minute trend change to signify your hourly high or low, and then enter there with your stop below the low. But while we got this up, we got this new crypto corner here. Pretty dank. Toby made this. Got all your stuff, your CoinDesk, Bitcoin Magazine, news and tweet feeds. Your fear and greed is not on here, I don't believe. It's just the trading view buy sell thing, which this is, I found out over the weekend from Toby. This is based on like moving averages and technicals, and it's kind of a point column, but decent. You got a little watch list, articles. This is something Dan wrote a couple weeks ago, when to focus on altcoins, and you got all your crypto needs within here. Your Bitcoin dominance in relation to alts and BTC, what's that doing? So pretty sweet here. And then other stuff like sector outlook I put out on the 29th, stuff like that's going to be on here. That's not listed on YouTube. So check it out. Tomato, in regards to the RR on stair steps, when it requires more than a 1-to-1 to, or when a 1-to-1 move is above the 12 EMA, certainly haven't said don't take those. For me, I don't take them. I don't like that risk to reward with my system. If you want to take them, then yeah, I would recommend taking off more than 50% to get your risk free at that 12 EMA. If you got to lop off 2/3, then that's that. But in general, I just don't like taking them because you see the setups so often. Like, I don't ever want to be in one specific setup like bad. I don't care what I'm trading. If I'm trading wheat or the Dow or crypto coins or gold or whatever, I really don't care. I want a nice clean setup, and if I don't get a nice clean setup, then I'll just move on to another instrument. That being said, I'm at the computer for 12 hours a day and have the opportunity to just wait for a more ideal setup. If you want to be in a specific coin, whether it be for fundamentals or this or that, and you want to take a stair step that has less ideal risk to reward, then you probably either want to use a smaller position size or make sure that you're lopping off more quicker to accommodate for that. But what works for me is not going to be what works for you. What works for me is not what works for Dan. What works for Dan is not what works for me. There's bits and pieces that we can all pull from our trading mentors and influences and whatnot, but we've all got to concoct our own dealio. And yeah, I don't ever want anybody to confuse anything that I'm saying with like, this is the way. There's many ways to skin this cat. Some people trade off of moon cycles. I don't trade off of moon cycles. I don't bag on the moon cycle trading because I haven't put the time into it. So all got to figure out what works for us. All right, I've got to wrap it up for real now. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, give us a shot or don't. If you haven't hit like or don't. This is a free environment here. You can do whatever you want, except spam the chat because Nightbot will nuke you. But hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day. Let's see how that Bitcoin bounce is finishing out to end the stream. Yeah, lots of room for an hourly higher low now, and ideal situation after breaking that support and getting the 3-day lower high set. Got to get a 4-hour uptrend from here is the next step to say, all right, maybe this is a 3-day cup and handle. And after the size of this bounce, it will be a notable stance from bears if they get back down through that, but only in the intermediate term because we still have tons of room for a 3-day higher low. Bears would need to bring increase in bear volume if they're going to go to lower lows. All right, for real, I'm out. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next stream. And that is that. Take care.